Chris Mashburn, and I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Rule Hollywood, a show that takes an in-depth look at the movie industry in the Southeast and beyond. On today's episode, Jessica Page will be speaking with actors Daniel Tovell and Angela Braden from the feature film The Role. Also, Lavette Clifton will be giving us a news update and some recent events in the movie industry. In our first segment, Tenille Wilson will sit down with Toby at his creature movie effects shop.
Hello, I'm Tenille Wilson with Rural Hollywood, and we're here with Toby Sells of the Toby Sells Creature Makeup Effects Shop, which specializes in special makeup effects for motion pictures and television. So, Mr. Sells, can you tell us exactly what you do?
I am a special makeup effects artist. I do special makeup, just like the title says. What that could be is anything from a bruise to a mechanical head of a monster or a person, an exploding body. A good example always is Freddy Krueger. You know, that wasn't really the actor, so that's what we do. We do that mostly for motion pictures, and since I've been in Atlanta, about 80% of them are independent films.
That's wonderful. Well, that takes a lot of work. How did you get started?
I was a weird kid. If you look around here, you'd have to be. When I was 10, I saw Planet of the Apes. It was the first time it was actually on TV. It was on the CBS Friday night movie, which started at 8 and it was over at 10:50. So that gave 10 minutes before the 11 o'clock news. So they had a little segment on how John Chambers did the makeup for all of it, and that was when the lights went off. And the next day, my dad took me to the hobby shop and bought me clay, plaster, liquid rubber, and within a week I had my first mask and just kind of took off. But I was the kind of kid, every time my mom took us to the grocery store, I had to have Play-Doh because I was constantly making things.
So I guess you're used to doing the movie thing now. How much input do directors have on what you're making?
It really depends on who the director is, and usually from the beginning of a project, they'll either say, we've got an idea for the monster, or they'll kind of say, read the script, see what you think, and we'll start doing sketches. We'll do a maquette, which is a little clay sculpture, until we kind of get the feel of what they want. And then sometimes you'll get a script and then you'll end up with drawings, and if you want the job, it's like you have to make it like this. But I've been lucky. Most of the time it's pretty much, this is kind of what we want, show us what you can come up with.
That's a lot of pressure. How long does it typically take you to complete your project?
It all depends on what it is. Depends on what it is, of course. What it's made out of. It could be foam latex, it could be just latex, it could be silicone, it could be a static prop, or it could be an animatronic puppet, which is, you know, basically a puppet's controlled by either cables or remote control RC radio controls. The makeups that we do, sometimes I've had to work 3 months on a specific makeup because of the complexity. It could be a foam latex makeup, which you wouldn't want to do just a full face mask. We do it in separate pieces that overlap so that they fit better because the foam shrinks, and it just gives you an overall a better appliance, not appliance, but a better final piece. And so that sometimes, just to do a full face like an old age, we could have up to 15 different molds, different pieces that we put on, so that's a lot of time.
That's exciting.
It just depends on what it is and the complexity of it.
Wow. So is there anyone who inspires you, or do you admire anyone in the industry?
Oh yeah, Dick Smith. He is by far the godfather of the business, and he did the Godfather. He did The Exorcist. He did Little Big Man, The Hunger. Got an Academy Award for Amadeus. Did the old age makeup on F. Murray Abraham. I was lucky enough to meet him through another artist that I admire, Tom Savini, back in '83, and I got his phone number, started talking to him, corresponding, and then I eventually took a course that he offered, and he actually got me my first job in California. Wow. So he's my number one. You know, there are tons of others: Rick Baker, Stan Winston, K&B. These guys that are used to be good friends of mine when I worked out there. I still think the world of them, and they're like probably the hardest working shop out there. So yeah, there's tons. You can't just say
just
one person, but yeah, Dick Smith's the godfather.
My godfather. So what do you have in progress, or can you talk about what you have in the future?
We're finishing up a movie called Creatures of the Night, which is actually being shot in Georgia, Clayton, Georgia, or Tiger, Georgia. Okay. Up there where they shot Deliverance, which is really kind of scary, but really it's kind of weird. We're doing that, finish that up, and then we're going to be doing, after that, we're going to be doing a zombie film called Contagion. We'll be doing like 250 zombies. So I'm going to have like a team of 30 artists.
How long is that going to take?
Well, it'll take a lot of pre-production. That in itself is going to be a lot of work, but we're going to do a bunch of bodies, animatronic zombie puppets. You know, all these zombies get killed, so we have exploding zombie heads. Some of the regular, you know, real people, the humans get killed, so we're doing, you know, exploding people, tons of stuff. But yeah, after that, that's going to be the biggest project. So we'll be doing a feature after that up in Chicago called Satanic Panic. Then we're doing another film also in October. It's a comedy called Grilling Bobby Hicks. And we've got 3 or 4 other ones I'm reading the scripts on right now for next year. So there's always something. I mean, I just last winter did 2 movies for some local guys, a couple little effects called Blood Car, and the other one's called The Signal. And we're also doing a zombie musical called Sex, Brains, and Rock and Roll. A couple little things for them. So yeah, we're busy.
You seem busy. Well, and we can tell this takes a lot of work and creativity. So would you like to show us some of your work? And
sure, but before I do that, I do want to say that it's not just me. I'm the kind of the little 3-ring circus dude that kind of coordinates it. I mean, I still do a lot of stuff. I sculpt, I mold, I paint. But I've got a crew of 5 or 6 really good artists that are helping me now. And I just want to say thank you to them. And my right-hand man, who I thought was going to show up tonight, she's not a man, but I call her that. Her name's Samantha Cobb, and without her, I could not operate this business at all. So
hi, Samantha.
Yeah, definitely want to give her kudos. So thank you, Sam.
Right. Well, are you going to take us on a tour?
Sure. Right. Like I said, it's not a big place, but I'll show you around.
Okay.
We'll start with this guy. I call this guy Pat. He's a polyurethane and latex body. He was actually meant to be strung upside down. This was for Creatures of the Night. And if you notice, a lot of people have commented, why is this blood kind of like looks like wine or maroon? The reason is because I knew the conditions that we would be filming it in. It was going to be a dark room, and what kind of gels they were going to put on the light. So I wish I could say I was a genius, but I have a little chart, and it says too much of this, too much. It's just a color chart. So the way to make it look a little more red in the dark was to paint this way. So that's the deal. But you can see he's got hair, eyes. But this is the difference. This is a good example. This is latex, and this guy right here is made out of silicone. And you can see the difference. Latex looks pretty good, but silicone is 100 times better. I mean, this is like the stuff you get at Spencer's Gifts versus the stuff that if you actually have your nose chopped off or something and they put a fake one on, that's what we make it out of, silicone. So big difference.
That's ingenious. It feels like a real man.
And this is Del Basque. I think his name is Del Basque, I believe is his last name. I'm sorry if you see this, Del. But he's got really white teeth and really white eyes and really dark skin. And it's funny because we couldn't get dental acrylic enough. I'll take that back. Dental acrylic white enough to really duplicate his teeth, so they're not white enough. But yeah, this is silicone, and all these hairs have been punched in. I won't say, I've probably punched 3 hairs, and a couple of people on the crew have punched the rest of them. So it was a long-going little process because each hair is punched in one at a time. This is something really simple. This is for a movie called The Signal, and the guy was actually pinned down by a knife into a chair. So they wanted to see it come out and bleed. So what we did, we made this little fake arm out of silicone, fiberglass, and then we have a little silicone skin over it. And we've got these tubes, and we have all kinds of wonderful little blood pumps. Wow. But what happens when we pull the knife out, you know, it's a steak knife, and that's what. Real quick shot. It probably took us like 50 hours to make this, and you'll see it for 3 seconds. That's usually
well, this is very creative, and it seems very time-consuming. So, is there any way that people can contact you, or normally?
Oh yeah. Anybody I intern people that are interested in this, because when I was 10, all I had was one book that the library had, and eventually that was just very basic. And then there was another book when I was in high school called Dick Corson's Stage Makeup, and this is in the late 70s, early 80s, before the internet was even a thought, and so it was really hard to get the information. And now there's a lot more information on the internet, but anybody that's serious about it and really it would have what it takes and be really dedicated. I do intern. I've got several interns that come in. Best thing to do is just you can email me at tobysales@bellsouth.net, or you can go on to my website, which is monstermaker181.tripod.com, which the new one should be out any day, so that would be tobysaleseffects.com.
Hello, I'm Lavette Clifton, and here's what's going on in the world of Hollywood. The Associated Press reports that rapper Eminem will return to the big screen in an updated version of the television series Have Gun, Will Travel, which aired on CBS back in 1957. Guardian Unlimited reports that 2 Italian directors shot a feature-length documentary using only a mobile phone. In the movie, the directors interviewed 700 people across Italy on their views about sex. And finally, Variety reports that Ridley Scott has signed on to direct a biopic on the Gucci family and their famous fashion enterprise. Next up, Jessica Page will be speaking with Daniel Tovell of DMT Pictures and his film, The Role.
Hi, we're here with Daniel Tovell of DMT Pictures, who is also the actor and producer of the film The Role. Hi, Daniel.
Good evening, Jessica. How are you?
Good. What first drew you to acting at the age of 12, correct?
Yeah, it was. It was quite early, in fact. My father was a physician, and my mother had taken me down a few times to see him at the hospital and in his long white coat and so forth. And then my uncle was on TV, Raymond Massey. He was in the Dr. Kildare series. So I got to see my dad with a stethoscope and white coat, and then Raymond Massey, and they looked quite a bit alike. And I knew I wanted to do that, and I was pointing to the black and white TV that I was watching in 1967, or between 1967 and 69, something like that.
Mm-hmm. And who were your first influences in the industry?
Oh, that's got to be a man named Phil Rash and a woman named Susan Ingalls when I was in high school. And I joined Susan Ingalls ran the local film and theater company called The Loft in Bronxville, New York. And I joined that, and I started making animations. And one year, everybody in the Loft Film and Theater Center had to be involved with their seasonal Christmas Carol. And it was the Christmas Carol this year. So I got bumped up to Scrooge from Fezziwig and that started, I was hooked.
So that was when you were in high school?
Yes, yeah,
Wow.
so 7th grade, in fact. I turned 15 on stage.
Oh, wow.
We turned away so many people in a 1-mile square town, we had to put on 2 extra performances.
That was must have been an amazing experience to celebrate your birthday.
It was pretty neat. It was pretty fun, no doubt.
Okay, tell us a little bit about what The Role is about.
The Role. It's a mystery thriller surrounding around the lives of 2 actors, the back behind the scenes, the stuff you usually don't see. There's a lot of double cross, and let's put it this way, I read the entire works of Hitchcock and tried to sneak some of his things in there, and evidently they worked, because about 95% of the people that have seen the film are completely fooled by the double Hitchcock ending. I'm quite proud of it. I was proud of it for quite a few reasons. The DP I was available to use, Jack Frost III, a local icon here in Atlanta. Curtis Bryant composed the music. And I met him at the the Atlanta Film Festival 4 years ago, and asked him to do it. And he was thrilled to do it. It was his first full feature film, and it's also Jack Frost's first full feature film, as well as mine, and the director, Scott Lewis.
Okay. What were some of the challenges of being the lead actor as well as the producer, playing that double role?
Well, there were quite a few. Geez, let me see. A couple of times they didn't like what I prepared for lunch. I was also the caterer. But let's see, we were on location at the Atlanta Broadcasting Corporation, and that is in a cul-de-sac with several office buildings. And one of them housed a bunch of lawyers, I think. And one weekend we were there with doors open and wires coming out and lights everywhere. And the man was very adamant about, what are you doing here on a weekend, and who gave you permission? And 15 minutes later, he's staying there with his son watching what we were doing, completely enthralled with, oh, it's a movie? The magic happened. It caught him.
Right, exactly. Well, beyond that, tell us about some of the exciting things that happened during the process and after the role came out.
Well, we filmed in my apartment building where I still reside, and I left, we left some marks, we left the outline, the chalk outline, if you will, from the body on the ground with the fake blood. We wrapped up around 3 o'clock in the morning. People were coming in the morning to the office going, what happened last night? What happened? We had 18 people arrive into the office asking who got killed.
Oh my gosh.
So if you can't get a better compliment about set dressing than that, I don't know what there is.
Right, exactly.
It was a blast.
And you had some exciting screenings too as well, right?
Oh, that's right, that's right. 2 Januaries ago, in 2005, NATAS screened it, the National American Television Arts and Sciences folks. And then this year, in this January, the Image Film and Video, who put on the Atlanta Film Festival, put on a locals-only film fest in January. And I got it shown in that, which is very, very pleasing. Very pleasing for the local recognition and all our hard work. It was quite worth it.
Okay, so where are you now, and what types of projects would you like our audience to know about?
Well, I'm looking for that good script right now. Of course, I'm working on a few of my own that I won't put in that category, but my director is working on a documentary about the Revolutionary War. Scott Lewis is. I know Curtis Bryant's been very busy. I'm right now focusing on my acting. I'm always looking for a good script, though. But right now I am focusing on my acting. Between the role and now, I partake in another film called The Other Side, which entered in and got into Slam Dance as well as Atlanta Film Festival. So we're very proud of that film too. But I have a new agent.
Okay.
And I'm now working with JS Talent.
Okay.
And I'm very proud of that. We're looking forward to getting busy in August and September of this year.
Do you limit yourself to just film work, or do you also do television?
No, I started out on stage. That's when I fell in love with it. When I first walked out and could see people laugh when they were supposed to, and got them, gasping when they were supposed to, and clapping at the end. And there's no feeling like that in the world.
Right.
You can't get that on a film set.
Right.
But you can get a lot done on a film set. So I love them both. I think the true acting form is probably the theater. I think you can't become an actor unless you do theater. Some jump right into film. I don't think that's wise. I think somebody should have experience in both.
Okay. Well, let our audience know where they can find out more information about the role.
Oh, that's easy. www.therole.com. And there's trailers on that, information about some of our actors, our crew, of course, photographs, and anything else. Well, that's about it. I think it's a pretty full website. It's got photographs and info on Angela, who I understand is going to be here a little later on.
Okay.
So it's complete. I had that done also by a local. Everything in the role was done by people here in Atlanta, and I'm very proud of that.
That's great to have local talent working.
Absolutely.
You can see the results. Maybe we'll see you walking down the street one day at the grocery store. Well, thank you, Daniel. I appreciate you coming out.
My pleasure, Jessica. My pleasure. Have a pleasant evening. Nice to meet you.
You want to hear a story, Joe?
The producer will see you now.
I wanted to ask you about the contract.
My contract? And a bonus?
That there was one more actor that came in after you and Red. I believe he's the one that ended up getting the role.
She did have some great potential.
At the audition, they told me the role was mine.
Can I trust her to keep a secret? Murder?
Here?
I didn't know if it was a he or not. I just know someone was killed. They're going to do an investigation.
I got mugged.
See how you like playing the role of a victim.
So what we got is a dead body?
Cops were at your place? What do they want?
Who would I kill?
I don't know what to make of this.
Steve, where are you?
I have the pleasure to introduce to you Angela Braden. And Angela is one of the characters in the film, The Role. Angela, can you tell us a little bit more about your acting career and your background in acting?
Okay. I did a few independent films here in Atlanta before moving to New York and then to LA. And once there, most of what I did was actually hosting type work. I hosted a little show in New York called Hot TV, and it was great fun. We covered little off-Broadway things, and it actually aired in Miami because the producer was from Miami, transplanted to New York. So, and I've always been a writer. I've always written for like women's magazines and health magazines, and so that journalistic side of it was really more satisfying to me than the independent film work. And although I do love the true acting as well, and when I made the move to Hollywood and everything, I did a small film out there and still, continue to do some hosting, just a variety of things.
Mm-hmm. Well, tell us a little bit more about your character that you play in The Role.
In The Role, that was actually one of the first films that I did in Atlanta. It's been a while, but the character was a very sweet girlfriend. I think that I took my job to just be the sweetest, like most, I guess, make the boyfriend's life look great, like the best life, because the whole premise of the film is that these two best friends their lives are going in completely different directions, and my character's boyfriend, his life is supposed to be just so great. We were broken up and we get back together, and I'm just lavishing him with affection, and meanwhile his best friend's girlfriend is, bitching him out and leaves him, walks out on him, tells him he's a loser, and that's just one thing that's
right.
that's showing the divergence in those characters' lives and their roles as friends, and allows the setup for the real theme of the film, which is those roles reversing and the really wonderful twists that they experience.
How does acting differ for you from journalism?
I think that it's totally different. It's really, I don't even see that many similarities. The journalism part, you mean on camera or?
On camera, off, and you could talk too about your enjoyment of each and what you like to pursue in each field.
What I like most about dramatic is being able to become a character and really, understand that imaginary person and capture all those nuances and get into the skin of someone else, because I really love people. I know that sounds so lame, but when you love people and you love the psychology of people, of human beings, then that's really fun to try on a new set of psychology. And then, of course, the interaction with the other actors, the characters, the emotions and the moments that you create together that really can never be recreated. It's almost like you're creating experience that's intended. So I love that. And then with the journalism, that's just back to the college nerd that I am. I just love learning all the time and learning from other people and just gaining knowledge everywhere that I can and piecing it together in a way that makes sense and presenting it in a way that helps people understand things that maybe they didn't before.
So you said you write a column for a magazine, and
it's actually the Sunday paper in Atlanta. It's the free weekly. That's all over in the free distribution points all over Metro Atlanta. And the column is called Angelic Indulgence. This is an idea that I've been working on for a long time, of trying to get that message out that people can indulge in life in healthy ways, that to be healthy and protect your health, you don't have to deprive yourself. There are all kinds of little tricks that you can do to find those, to create a lifestyle and find those things that get you to your lifestyle goal in a healthy way. that's still pleasurable and enjoying and relaxing.
So this has to do with nutrition and diet as well as other things in your other aspects of your life.
Yes.
So can you talk a little bit more about that?
Well, exactly. That's exactly it. It started as a healthy dessert column because I've never been one to skip dessert, and the more I got, like, you don't have to. And once you learn that, it's just it's so exciting. You know, if you learn how to get the right protein ratios into the desserts and use healthy sweeteners instead of refined sugar, and use whole grains, and you can really make a healthy dessert. So that was a column in Vibrant Life magazine, which is just a health magazine, and it was called Angelic Indulgences, and that's how kind of it all started. But then, like you said, it expanded into this whole lifestyle, and I started studying more the mind-body elements of medicine, and took workshops with Deepak Chopra, and that part of it really integrated more of the whole lifestyle. It made it, you know, more broad, so it's not just about food anymore. It's about aphrodisiac essential oils and aroma. Interact with people and get more quality out of life and hopefully more longevity, I believe. And this is what as far as television, my main goal now is to make this into a TV show, the Angelic Indulgence show. Okay. Although it'll probably, the working title that I have now is Indulge in Health, so it's a little more clear what it is.
Well, besides the TV show, what you're hoping to work on, to put that into motion.
Yes.
What other projects do you have going on? Maybe in acting as well?
I still do some spokesperson work and hosting. I'm looking for more hosting jobs because I really enjoy that. And I'm working with Arlene Wilson, with Michael and Julie at Arlene Wilson Management. So they're sending me out and just doing little, industrials and things that I can do here and there without losing focus on this bigger project of Angelic Indulgence. And that mainly takes a lot of, I really have to stay in the game with all of the experts and doctors and interviewing, writing, and continuing to get published and keeping the column, going and really quality. So that's really my main focus now.
We'd like to thank our guests, Daniel Tovell, Angela Braden, and Toby Sells, for appearing on our show. We'd also like to thank you, the viewers, for joining us. So be sure to tune in next time for another episode of Rule Hollywood.